Welcome back to the Southeastern Sports Insider. Today we're going to be doing a year in review of all HSC sports. I'm Aidan.
I'm Dominic.
I'm Alex.
And I'm Harrison.
All right, well, starting the year off, obviously we have our fall sports. Probably the most popular being football.
Very big fall sport.
Very big fall sport being football. And joining us here in a minute is our head football coach, Coach Kelley. He'll be calling in with us
Coach
today.
Michael Kelley.
Michael Kelley.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good, Coach. How about you?
I'm living the dream.
All right, sounds good. So if you don't mind, we'll just go ahead and start off. So before this season, what were your expectations for HSC football?
I thought that we had the potential to be pretty good this year. I thought that we had a lot of returning starters on the offensive and defensive lines that was going to be very helpful on our success as a program. I thought, the question for us was going to be how we developed at the skill positions and what type of impact the year of COVID was going to have on our team in terms of coming together as a group and trying to create that family environment that I think is vital to success of any program.
Awesome. I mean, yeah, it was definitely a phenomenal year. We finished 8-3. The final record was 9-3 if you include the sectionals. Going into our second question, what do you think was the biggest surprise from this season?
The biggest surprise was, I think, just the way we were able to finish some of our games. I think I had a running clock in 6 of our games this year, which speaks to the focus of our program in terms of not caring who we played. They came out and performed at a high level, which is unique, I think, for many to be able to do that several times. I think we started out the first 3 games of the season with a running clock, which speaks to the preparation of our players and our coaches and the job they did in getting our team ready to go.
So, Coach, HSC won the Mudsock Trophy this year. What was the biggest factor for that to the football team and to the entire school?
I think from a football perspective, I think there was a nasty taste in our mouth from the year prior where we lost on the final play of the game, going into score to go ahead. I think guys came out hungry and had something to prove. I think that preparation went in terms of off-season workouts and just overall mental focus in terms of how we went about getting through practices. A lot of times, I think teams will survive practices, and I thought last year's team did a nice job of buying into getting better each and every day and building towards that end. I think last year was the first time we beat Fishers twice in 1 year in probably 10 years, I think, which, it just kind of speaks to the team and their focus and their preparation. And then from a student perspective, I think our fans were phenomenal all year long. There's nothing like having the Blue Crew out and loud and proud like they did all year long. Which is a huge boost to our program for sure. When you got that type of support, it's easy to go out and play hard and get excited about the opportunity to compete.
So with our last question, what are you looking forward to, or what do you expect for next year?
Well, I'm looking forward to see how we respond. I think, sometimes you can get complacent and satisfied with where you are. I think next year it's going to see what type of team comes back. I know this freshman class was undefeated as freshmen. This senior class was undefeated as freshmen. And so, they've got something to prove. Are they going to return to that status, or are we just going to kind of let that be our biggest defining moment was wear our freshman undefeated T-shirts and get excited about what we did 4 years ago, or are we going to be excited about what we get to do this year? And so I'm excited to see how we respond, whether we allow last year's successes to kind of allow us to coast, or are we still hungry and want build off of what took place last year.
Yeah, awesome. That's we're really looking forward to next year, both football wise, especially with the new sectionals that came out a couple weeks ago. Sorry, I didn't include this question in the preamble, but I just wanted to ask, how do you feel really about those reorganized sectionals?
Well, I think it gives us an opportunity to see someone different. I think playing the same teams every year, you get excited about the teams you get to face, but beating them twice is oftentimes challenging. And so now having the new sectional with some new opponents and new faces, some unfamiliar faces, it just presents a new opportunity. And so I'm excited. I think it's good for us and our program to get that opportunity to see some different schools potentially. However, Fisher's is still in there, so we do have a rival in our sectionals once again, but having the two Fort Wayne schools in there should make for a unique opportunity for our program. I think, as I told our team, everyone gets excited to see something new. It's kind of like the shiny new toy, but the focus has to be on us getting better each and every week and staying focused on what's important today before we worry about what's important October 31st or October 28th or whatever day it is. We play that first round of sections.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach. I know I and everyone here at SSN and on the SSI podcast team are really looking forward to next season. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Of
Go
course.
Royals.
Go Royals.
So that was Coach Michael Kelley of HSC football.
Yeah. I think you got to love that guy. He just bleeds blue,
Great coach, loves this school, loves the whole culture. He brought a great culture to the school's football team. He came here, three years ago?
He came here in the middle of COVID. So the first time now everyone that's on the football team met him was over a Zoom meeting. And right away he came in and immediately started changing how people view football.
Program.
Yeah. And you saw that right away.
All I'm gonna say is before Kelley came, we were a school that we were decent at football.
Yeah.
For a 6A school, we were solid. Now we are legit a school that they know we work hard. Mm-hmm. They know we're gonna come out and put it all on the field. He brought a culture to this team that I don't think anyone else could have.
Yeah. I think what makes our team so much better now is he keeps everyone on the team disciplined and committed and
Yeah. And like you said in this phone call, it's no longer this idea we got to get through practice today and then we get it. No, it's okay, now it's time for practice. Now we can go play football. And I think that just speaks volumes to who he is as a coach and who he is as a person. And like I said, you saw obvious success on the football team this year, going 8-2, 7-2 in the regular season with a loss.
Every win was a blowout win.
Yes, including the win against Fishers. First 3 games, mercy rule, running clock in the second half. 2
wins against our arch rival Fishers, which, as he said, is not something that has happened.
It's hard to be a good team often. Twice. So, yeah.
You look at girls volleyball, who was, I believe, top 3 in the state for the whole year.
26-3. 7-0 in conference, first in the HCC. They were 11-1 at home, 12-1 away. Very good team. Looks like
at one point, they were top 10 in the country. I don't know if they finished there,
and
but
they have a history of that too. They've set the standard for what HCC volleyball is. They've always been extremely good. Their first 2 games looks like a loss to McCutcheon and Lafayette and a loss to Carmel. And then it just looks like it's a win streak from there. Beat Fishers in a shutout, beat Cathedral in a shutout. But then looks like they lost to Carmel in the second playoff game, so I'm guessing that's the sectional championship. So disappointing loss, but a very good season for volleyball.
Yeah,
overall.
We are now going to be bringing on the athletic director.
Yes. Greg Habeggar. He's one of our 2 ADs. He's a great guy. Let's get him on the phone.
Hello, this is Greg Habeggar.
Hello, how's it going, Mr. Habeggar?
I'm doing well. Is this Alex?
Oh, this is Aidan, but yeah, we're recording the podcast right now. If you answer a couple questions for us.
Gotcha. Absolutely. I'll do my best.
All right, thank you. So let's just start right off. First question is, before this season, what was your expectations for HSC athletics?
That's a great question, and I don't, from year to year, I don't know that I ever have a great feel about all of our sports across the board. We have an idea that maybe certain sports are going to be more competitive than others. Maybe some might be in a rebuilding mode, that kind of thing. But, I think my overwhelming thought and expectation for the 21-22 year and season was just that we get back to some kind of normalcy with people getting to compete and not have to wear masks, or coaches getting to coach and not have to wear masks, fans coming back without restrictions. And I would say for the most part, I think mission accomplished. I think we've had a chance to really get back to what feels a little bit more like a normal season and competitive environment. So that's good. We set out each year with the hope and certainly an expectation to be competitive in the HCC all-conference trophy, and win as many HCC titles, or at least do well in HCC play. And obviously the Mud Sox a big goal for us every year. So again, I think we've had a great year in that way. We squeaked out the Mud Sox 10-9, and we currently sit atop the HCC after the winter, and it's going to be really close. Boys track winning this week, winning the HCC was a huge boost. So I feel good that we're going to capture the HCC crown again. So it's been a great year and a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, especially with the return of normalcy, it was so great just to have fans there again. Especially, I play football, and I was at a bunch of basketball games and stuff too, and it seemed like there was a lot more excitement than there was even before COVID, just because everyone got to come back.
Yeah, I think I would agree. And I would say not just with students, but I think with moms and dads and grandpas and grandmas and everybody else. It was really interesting. I'm sure you all can relate. Back in 2020 and 2021, when we were watching, restricted fans at NFL games, and certainly college basketball didn't have fans, and high school games were parents only. It just was a stale, unenthusiastic environment. And I think I took for granted what fans did for the atmosphere at games. You always know that a big crowd means, a lot of enthusiasm. But, just getting back away from that and getting fans back in just added to that experience for the athletes, but then certainly for the community as well.
Yeah, Mr. Habeggar, so what do you think was the biggest surprise from this season?
Biggest surprise? That's a good question. Maybe what we kind of already talked about was just the impact that fans can have. I think I was pleasantly surprised at that, and the fact that fans re-engaged quickly. We thought maybe we'd have to re-educate fans on how to be fans and how to be involved and how to be positive and cheer their teams on. So that was good to see that it didn't take as much effort as maybe before. I guess getting back to your first question too, I really wasn't sure that we were going to keep our stronghold on the HCC competition on the All Sports Award, just not knowing over or across the board, how we were going to do. So I guess that was a little bit of a surprise to know that after the fall and after the winter, we held on. To do a little brag for our teams here, in the history of the HCC conference, I think we have won something like 17 out of 21 years we've won the All Sports Award. So people in our conference can't wait to upset or to beat the Royals. And I really thought people were going to come after us hard this year, and they did. But again, so far we have held our ground, and I really feel like we're gonna eat this out here this spring and keep that trophy here at HSE.
Yes, of course. And like you were saying earlier about us barely squeaking out the Mudsock Trophy, what did you think the biggest factor in that was?
I think we say this every year, but it's so true this year that, boy, every sport counts. And that sounds so simple and Mr. Obvious, but in the fall when it's September and the school year just got started, you feel like, you can't win the Mudsock Award in September, but boy, I think Fisher's proved to us, and we proved that a great start in the fall was the key to victory. We won 7 out of 8 Mudsocks in the fall. And as I was standing at baseball talking to one of the Fisher's ADs, they realized that at that time they thought they had some really good chances in the winter and spring, but they knew that they had dug such a hole by losing 7 out of 8 in the fall. So I really think those sports are fall sports, and we've said that to our coaches, that they never take for granted your measly little Mudsock point isn't important. Just, man, they all count. And as evidenced by this year, we needed all 10 to win. I look back on the history of our Mudsock competition, and I believe this is the only year that it's been 10-9. We've had some other close years where it's been, 11-8 or something close, but I think this is the first year it's been that close.
Yeah, and definitely a great year this year. I think we just clinched up the Mudsock Trophy 2 weeks ago with girls track, right?
That's correct. Uh-huh.
All right, yeah. So Mudsock champions yet again, and does that make it the score like 13-2?
You're exactly right. 13-2. That's correct.
All right, awesome. So dominant nature by HSE. That's what we love to see. And looking forward to next year, what are you hoping for? What are you looking forward to in 2022, 2023?
I think probably the goals are just about the same every year. In athletics, we really don't talk a lot about wins and losses per se. We do. We want to win the Mudsock. We want to win the conference and all that. But, I think Coach Self would echo this, that our goal every year is that our athletes have a great experience. We're not going to win every title. We're not going to win state championships in every sport every year. But when we get to this point and our seniors graduate, our athletes wrap up another year, we hope that they can say, I had a great experience. And that can mean a lot of different things for different people. But, we want athletes to have great relationships with their teammates, certainly with their coaches. We want them to have learned some valuable lessons through battling on the field or the court or the pool or whatever, and just be able to say that they're better people because they had a great experience. Now, that sounds like an athletic director, doesn't it, to say something like that?
just a little bit.
Just a little bit. But we certainly, want to win. If we're going to keep score, you might as well win. And we want to do that. And so all the positives, the value of athletics are there, but it sure is a whole lot more fun when you win. And we always hope to, again, check those boxes: Mudsock, conference, sectionals, and we are arrogant enough at HSE to think that if we get through our sectional here in Hamilton County, we got a shot. We got a shot to win the whole thing, because we play some of the best competition here right in our own backyard. And then we have a chance to move on and win it. So I think those are the goals I have for the 22-23 season.
Awesome. Yeah, I know. We definitely love to win, and we had a lot of that this year, and hopefully we have a lot more of that next year. So I know me and everyone else here at the SSI podcast team is very thankful that you were able to join us today. We hope you have an amazing rest of your day. And thank you for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure. Anytime we get to talk about HSE athletics, that's a good day. So I just want to say, too, how much we appreciate SSN. We're the benefactors of a lot of compliments from people in our community when actually Coach Self and I have nothing to do with it. But we take the compliments about your broadcasts and just the way you represent the Royals. So right back at you. Thank you for all you do for our community.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach. That means a lot. Have a great rest of your day, and go Royals.
Very good. Thank you. Go Royals.
So that was the HSC athletic director, Mr. Habeggar. He really gave us an outlook on every single school sport, which I liked that a lot. We talked about mudsock. We talked about mudsock a lot while we were on that call. We won 10-9, which that's great.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So looking at mudsock, it obviously finished out very close, 10-9. But I feel like next year going into it, we have a shot to really do really good in mudsock.
Yeah.
Because you look at this year, there were a lot of sports that were really close. And, there are sports that you check off that we're probably going to beat them in.
Yeah.
And then there are some of the sports that we lost, like basketball. And that was really close.
That was much closer than it was supposed to be.
Yeah.
Because you think they have Jeffrey Simmons. They have that. Is he a freshman right now?
Jalen Harlison, yeah.
Ridiculous.
But as good as their future is with Jalen Harlison, they are actually losing a lot, Fisher's basketball team. So we definitely have a shot to win that next year. Their baseball team, they have Jack Brown, but they are losing a lot of seniors. A lot of really good D1 players are going to be leaving after this year. So we got a shot at baseball next year. I think next year we really have a chance to just absolutely blow them out in the mudsock, like what we did in the fall, but just carry it out through the year.
Basketball, we were 9-14 on the season, 5th in HCC, and it's like, it wasn't a disappointing season. We took Fishers to double overtime.
I agree, Meat Man. Yeah, we had a lot of stuff that we were trying to build the culture with Coach Ashworth coming in. So
Yeah, this first season, I think it was an okay season.
Yeah, and I mean, you have DJ Hamilton.
We got a lot of young players.
Yeah, a lot of really young players
that are going to be starting here next year.
Yeah, and then moving into the spring, you have lacrosse dominating as usual. Yeah. You have track and field just got first in conference. And that was honestly kind of a big upset. Yeah. Taking number 2 in the state down in a conference track meet, and big time win for them. And then you have girls track. They just had conference last night. I don't know the outcome of that.
I think they won too.
Did they win? And then you have they clinched the Mudsock Trophy for us. So, I mean, great spring sports. You had pretty good winter sports. Girls basketball is good. Boys basketball was good considering the situation. And then in the fall, we were just dominant. So overall, just a great year for Hamilton Southeastern sports.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for tuning into the Southeastern Sports Insider. Be sure to follow us on Spotify and YouTube to make sure you never miss a podcast. I'm Aidan.
I'm Alex.
I'm Dominic.
And I'm Harrison.